an ancient Greek character sadly saying daddy's crazy. I know, brother, but that's the least of my problems. I've seen people say, the thing that annoyed me the most was like, it's not even true, by the way. The people who say that are just trying to be like, see guys, I'm not racist. I didn't like the casting of Eleanor Congo, but the thing that actually annoyed me was the language. No, it's not. You're just saying it because you wish. It doesn't work with the cultists, by the way. They still think you're racist. So what's the point? It's Eleanor Congo, the thing that annoyed me the most of all the other things, and Zendaya.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
I feel like I just got called out by Metatron because this is exactly what my last video was about. Of course, I know it's not the case because there is almost no way that Metatron saw it, but I am obsessed with Nolan just like Metatron, so I'm gonna talk about it anyway. First things first, because people are focused on Zendaya and of course Helen of Congo, we are ignoring something that can be even worse, and that's Travis Scott.
I mean, we have Travis Scott in this movie. What the is Travis Scott doing in this movie, bro?
If we are about to get blasted with rap music while watching the Odyssey, I'm gonna have a heart attack. And sadly, I'm also gonna have to watch this abomination of the movie because literally my channel is built upon hating it. And I'm gonna stand by that. I hate dialogue and costumes the most. It might be because I have such a low expectation to everything that comes out from Hollywood that I think that race swapping is such a default for the Hollywood cult that I don't notice it that much. Unless it's made in your face in a way just like a Black Snape or Helen of Congo. So I will say, if we had at least 80% Greek cast and the rest were looking at least Greek passing, some race swaps could pass. Or they could put Eurybates in the movie, character from the Odyssey. But that would require any care about the source material, and let's not accuse Nolan about something like that. What I'm trying to say is that we, of course, have enough of race swaps going only one way. The fatigue can go both ways. We can either get more frustrated or more numb to it. Of course, getting numb and used to it is the goal of Hollywood cult. So when we hear about Marvel character number 100 getting race swapped, nobody cares anymore. Helen, of course, is not a case like that. It is not a Marvel character number 100. It is a woman who is supposed to be a pinnacle of Greek beauty. So this particular race swap is made in your face as hard as possible. So my point here is that race swaps won't ruin the movie every time. Of course, my preferred number of race swaps is 0. Nobody wants white Black Panther or white Shaka Zulu or white Yasuke, but nobody would make a movie about white Yasuke. Hades games are one of my favorite pieces of media, and half of Greek gods in those games are race swap. So in Hades game, you have an Asian Hermes, but this guy still looks like Hermes, even though he looks Asian. But Hades games always were stylized and never claimed to be 100% historically accurate. Nolan Odyssey does that, while not trying to make those people look Greek at all. Another example would be Romeo and Juliet adaptation with Leonardo DiCaprio set in modern times, also full of race swaps. But in case of Nolan, we have the Odyssey that looks like LA, but Nolan asks you to believe that this is a Greece. And at least for me, those obnoxious dialogues and obnoxious costumes are more immersion breaking than the race swaps. Majority of cast is white, but I don't care about that they are white. None of them look like Greek. They should be Greeks, or at least try to look like Greeks. And what makes them not look like Greeks? Those awful costumes and awful dialogue with awful American accent. 2004 Troy also had basically not existing Greek cast. But unlike Nolan, at least the number of Greeks in credits was not 0. But the Troy at least tried to make you believe that those people are Greeks. It made them look like Greeks. In case of Nolan, we have Tom Holland that looks like he just walked out from the set of Spider-Man and he's saying my dad is coming home. Also, I made another chat music video from replies to the post of the Odyssey movie before they locked the replies, and most of them are about the dialogue. Maybe my mind is broken in some way because I went to a film school, actually got film bachelor degree, and I tried to be screenwriter. So repulsive dialogue like that offends me twice as much. And you will see a Helen of Congo on screen in, let's say, 10, 20 minutes, but you will be stuck for 3 hours with this repulsive dialogue, with this rubber armor of Odysseus. For this, I'm gonna pull out Nerdotic clip once again.
I might sit down and watch the movie and go, man, I really fucking hated Black Helena Troy and Elliot Page, but I liked everything else. That's totally a possibility.
Too much talking about Hollywood. Light has left this place, so I had to change the lamp. So even though I think the casting of this movie reached critical mass that it makes it look ridiculous, if somehow everything else was good, this could pass. Also complaining about Black Helen is the main argument for the cultists that's gonna protect this movie. Like their lives depends on it. So once again, we are getting discussion brought to a level. Oh, everything who complains about is racist. We never had that before, right? So even though I think casting is still one of the biggest problems of this movie, it's not the biggest and not the only one. But focusing discourse about this movie just on the casting takes away from the other problems. Of course, I'm not saying Metatron does that. Metatron complained about everything that can be complained about this movie. So my contempt and disgust for this dialogue is that the poor unfortunate souls that are gonna sit in these theater halls for 3 hours will be listening to this for 3 hours. And usually, when you make a trailer and want to show off dialogue, you're showing the things that are the most representative of the tone of the movie. And those lines, you're pining for a daddy. My daddy's coming home. Let's go. They double down. They put that again in the last trailer. So they either want to show us that this is the best I can offer, or they want to tell us how much they don't care. Just think about it. If those are the best lines from this mockery of the script, what is in the actual movie? Is the conversation between Odysseus and Poseidon gonna look like that? Yeah, Odysseus, ya fool! What happened to my son? Polyphalus? I'm glad you asked, my homie Poseidon. But I am afraid that Polyphalus died of ligma. Died of what? Lick my balls, Poseidon! I think I'm overdosing Nolan at this point. So my main point that I tried to make from the very start is that dialogue is what really shows for who this movie is made for. If you can sit there for 3 hours and listen to linguistic masterpiece by people who put a line, "You're pining for a daddy," into a trailer, there must be something wrong with you. And I just called Polyphemus Polyphallus and made Ligma joke. Everything we know about this movie makes it look like it's made only for movie critics, TikTok audience, and Nolan psycho fans. So at this point, when you are making this movie that looks so idiotic, what is the point of bringing Homer into this? What is the point of desecrating Homer to make something that looks like a Marvel slop? Like something that is nothing more than an action movie with this idiotic dialogue? This is movie made for idiots. And movie critics, who are also idiots, but paid idiots. Elon says it's a straight up Oscar bait. And of course it checks every boxes, it probably will get a lot of Oscars. For me, something way worse is deliberate mocking Greek and European culture and taking the foundational piece of our poetry and making dialogue like that is straight up spitting in face of Homer. Everything about this movie makes it look like it's made for lowest common denominator. And Odyssey for lowest common denominator is not an Odyssey. It shows it is a movie made for people that have no respect for European culture and won't have any benefit from interacting with it. And that's all what I wanted to say. I really think that dialogue is the most offensive part because the dialogue is what is offending the very core of Homer's work in this case. If you somehow get to the end of this video, thank you. Now I will be going for a week-long Kung Fu training camp, so I won't be reading comments from now. But there will be daily Nolan videos. Yes, I'm obsessed. And when I come back, there will be even more Nolan. I'm recording this at 7th of July. It will be published at 12, and I will be come back at 15. So, see you in 3 days.